Hello, scholars, and welcome to the review of Unit 8 circles. This is the practice test, and then you're going to take the real test when you finish watching this. So, number one says identify the highlighted part of circle O or P shown below. And so, this actually looks just like the practice quiz. They give you another radius. So, from here to here, right, from the center to the edge of the circle would be the halfway, which would be the radius. All the way through the center would be the diameter. You just have to review those vocabulary words for the other parts of the circle, but yeah, number one is radius. For number two, again, the highlighted part. Again, pretty simple. This in the middle is the center. Yeah, this is just like the other review. So just to review, tangent, secant, chord, those are the ones you probably don't remember. I would look at that sheet that has all the definitions for you, and you can always use that for the test. All right, so for number three, encircle Q with the measure of arc PR being 98 degrees, find the measure of PQR. So you're trying to find PQR, which is this angle right here. So you have to think about, is this going to be is this a central angle or is this a inscribed angle? Because the vertex is at the center, this is a central angle, and those are equal to each other, so it's 98 degrees. If it was inscribed, it would be equal to half the arc. So that's a little bit different, but this one's central, so they're equal. So for number four, encircle D, measure of angle BDC, 76 degrees. So let's label that. Solve for X if the arc BC is 5X plus 41. And so again, this is a central arc, so they're going to be our central angle, so they're going to be equal to each other, right? Central angle, let's even put equal to arc up here. So same thing down here. Central angle is equal to the arc. So therefore, it's going to be 76 is equal to 5x plus 41. And you just solve the two-step equation. I'm going to subtract 41 from both sides. And I get 35 equals 5x. Then I divide by 5. And x is equal to 7. All right, so we're going to move on to the next page. So in the diagram below, quadrilateral CDEF is inscribed in circle G. Find the measure of E. So find the measure of this angle right here. So we're going to just label it X. And opposite angles are supplementary, meaning they add up to 180. So I'm just going to go ahead and subtract from 180. 180 minus 111 gives me 69 degrees. And that is it for number 5. Number 6, the measure of arc KN is 91. So let's label this 91. IZ is 153. And we're trying to find KWN, which is this angle right here. So because they're intersecting inside, my formula here is going to be half the sum. Meaning I'm going to add those two. So 91 plus 153. And let's scroll down a little bit. So I'm going to take 1/2 of, let's just use a calculator, it's fine. 91 plus 153 gives us 244. And then half of 244 is 122. So that is our answer right here. Now for number 7, it's intersecting outside. See how for number 6, it's intersecting in the middle there. And then for number 7, they're intersecting out here at M, which means it's going to be slightly different. So let's label 32, 102, and that's going to be X. And it's going to be our half of the difference, not the sum. Difference means I'm going to subtract. So X equals 1/2. I'm going to subtract the outer one minus the inner one. So 102 minus 32. And then 102 minus 32 gives us 70. and half of 70 is 35. Alrighty, we're gonna move on. Number 8. So now for number 8, when we have chords that intersect, so it looks a little bit like number 6, except we're not looking at the angle, we're looking at the segment. So the segment relationship is I can multiply the products are going to equal the products. The product of this chord that's been intersected is going to equal the product of this chord that's been intersected. So I'm going to write x times 20 is equal to 9 times 22. Again, x times 20 because it's on that same chord, and equals 9 times 22 because that's those two numbers on the same chord. All right, so x times 20 is 20x, and 9 times 22 is 198. I draw my line, and the last step is just to divide by 20. I'm going to get a decimal, so 198 divided by 20 gives me 9.9. And that one is done. All right, I think we have a few more. Yep, I think this last page here. All right, so number 9, the difference with this one. So again, see how they're both kind of, like if I have angles, they're different. I have a half of the sum for number 6, half the difference for number 7. See how it's just different because it's intersecting in a different place. So same thing with 8 and 9. Because 8 is intersecting in the middle here at U, are my products of the segment. So that's the difference between 8 and 9 and 6 and 7 are the products, it's the angles versus the segments. And so for 8, I just have the products of the different parts. But for number 9, I still have products, but it's just that it's going to be the outside part times the entire thing, okay? So this outside part, which is, so I'm looking at this secant right here. So the outside part is 10, and then the whole thing, right, 10 plus 15 is 25. So I'm going to multiply that by 25. And then again, now I'm looking at this secant. This outside part, which is 8, is going to be times this whole thing, which I got a label here. So this is x. So this whole thing is 8 plus x. So 8 times 8 plus x. Don't forget to, have both of those there. So 10 times 25 is 250. And now we're going to distribute. So 8 times 8 is 64. And 8 times x is 8x. So if you're not distributing with number 9, that means you forgot something. So make sure, again, you're including both of those. All right, then I just solve my equation. So I'm going to subtract 64 from both sides to get 250 minus 64 is 186 equals 8x. I'm going to divide 186 by 8. And I'm rounding this to the nearest tenth. So this becomes 23.3. So let me just write what I got on the calculator though. See how I get 23.25? Because I think we're still struggling a little bit with the rounding. So we're rounding it to 23.3 because this number right here is 5 or greater. So that's why this number goes up to 3. So that's how I get 23.3. All right, and now moving into the last lesson we did, which was equations. So what we're going to do is first write our standard equation of a circle, which is x minus h squared plus y minus k squared is equal to r squared. And then we're going to put in, our radius is 7, so we're going to put 7 in for r. Our center is negative 5, 1, so this is going to be h and k right here. So x minus negative 5 plus y minus 1. Don't forget the squares. And then 7 squared right there. So see, I've just replaced r, h, and k. Now I'm going to simplify. This should be x plus 5. Just a reminder here, so I saw people doing this on Delta Math. Your test is on Delta Math. Make sure there's a plus right here. If you leave it as minus and negative, that's going to be wrong, I'm pretty sure, because that's not simplified. Subtracting and negative is the same as adding, so we have to have it as adding. And then the y minus 1 stays the same, and 7 squared is 49. And this is my final answer right here. Also, don't forget the plus in the middle. Don't forget the x and y. Little mistakes will throw it off, okay? All right, so for number 11, we're going to actually graph this one. So if you want to write your standard equation, now you know this is on the computer, but you can always write it down on a piece of paper. So I'm just going to write it above it, x minus h squared plus y minus k squared equals r squared. So it helps me know what my center and my radius is. So my center, right, hk, is going to be 5, 4. All right, can we see that? That h is 5, k is 4. And that my radius is going to be 3, because r squared to be 9, I'm going to take the square root of 9, which is 3. Okay, so 3 squared gives me 9. All right, so my center is 5, 4. I'm going to plot that. My radius is 3, so count 3 over. I think that's all you need for Delta Math, but I'm going to keep going. 3 here, 3 here, 3 here, and then just kind of draw the circle. All right, and our last one is determine the equation of the circle graph below. So first we're going to find the center. You can look at the radius or the diameter, which is 8. So just in the middle of that, see, it's 4. Same thing, radius is 8, so in the middle is 4, or take the average, however you want to look at it. I just kind of look at it and plot it. So our center is 6, 4. And then the radius, right, we counted 4, right? You can go 4 in each direction. So our radius is 4. So we're going to plug this into our standard equation of a circle, which is x minus h squared plus y minus, do that, y minus k squared equals r squared. And I'm going to put in 6 and 4. So x minus 6, y minus 4 squared, and then radius of 4. What is 4 squared? What's 4 times 4? That gives me 16. And that is your review. So go ahead and take the test. You can use this, you can use your notes, and good luck.